This is the Lofree Flow 2, the follow-up to one of the best looking premium low profile keyboards out there. I've been itching to try out a high quality low profile keyboard, something that bridges the gap between full mechanical keyboards with the same convenience of something like an Apple Magic keyboard. I've been daily driving this 84 key silver version, and while I haven't tested the usual competition like the HiFi Air 75 V3, I can tell you straight away, this has been a very nice typing experience. It's sleek, sounds fantastic. I mean, just listen to that thock. Not to mention, it's built like it was machined for a spacecraft, but it's not perfect. So in this review, we're going to cover everything: design, build, typing feel, features, technical details, and the quirks of this keyboard that you should know about before you spend your money. Let's get into it. Let's start with design because this thing looks good. The Flow 2 is CNC milled from a single block of aluminium, and that unibody construction makes it incredibly rigid with minimal flex, yet it still feels light enough to throw in a bag. Lofree's anodized matte finish is smooth, low glare, and resists fingerprints. And yeah, I mean, it helps that it has that clean Apple aesthetic, especially for my setup. Now, if you're wondering why people would even buy a low profile mechanical keyboard in the first place, it usually comes down to portability, ergonomics, and a more laptop-like feel. They are easier on the wrist without needing a wrist rest, they take up less space on your desk, and they're light enough to move between multiple setups. But there are the typical trade-offs too. You often lose some of the deep key travel and cushion that you get from full height switches, meaning that the typing feel can be stiffer. Battery life is sometimes shorter because there's less room for big cells, and in this segment, you'll see lots of compromises on RGB lighting, customizability, or quality of life features in order to keep the form factor quite slim. Now, the Flow 2 still feels very premium within those constraints. It's solid, portable, and looks fantastic, but it does have one design choice that splits opinion. Now, one of the most distinctive things about the Flow 2 is this side module on the right side. It houses the USB-C port, an indicator light, and a touch slider for volume and screen brightness. I actually don't mind how it looks. It gives the board some personality. But I have definitely brushed the volume slider a couple of times, basically blasting myself in the face with my Hans Zimmer playlist. If you are working in a cramped desk space, it can also sit uncomfortably close to your mouse hand. The Flow 2 comes in 3 layouts: 68 keys, 84 keys like mine, and a 100 key 96% layout. Now, my 84 key version gives you a 75% footprint, function row, arrow keys, and a compact nav cluster while still staying portable. All models have a low front height for comfort, and you can switch between 2 typing angles: flat at 0 degrees or raised to 11 degrees with the new all metal fold out feet. I actually really like the hinge mechanism on these. It's got a very reassuring, solid click when you flip them out. And when the board is inclined, it's incredibly stable. Even when I'm typing quickly, it doesn't shift or slide around at all. Now, my silver version comes with what are called Surfer linear switches. They have a 40-gram actuation force, refined stems, and a smoother travel than before, thanks to tighter mold tolerances. They're made by Kyle, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's spelt out on screen now, specifically for Lofree, and you can actually get tactile pulse switches with the gray model or silent void switches if you want a quieter experience. These keycaps are double shot PBT with a higher PBT content than the previous model, so they are denser and more durable. The profile has been reshaped for better fingertip fit, and they are shine through, which works with a white only backlight. Now, because this is a low profile board, the key travel is shorter than a standard mechanical keyboard like my Keychron. That means your fingers don't have to move as far, which can be great for speed and comfort. Compared to a full height keyboard, it definitely feels a bit less cushioned. The travel ends more abruptly, which some people might find less forgiving if they're used to a more soft, bouncy bottom mount. Personally, I found it to be a good middle ground between the snappiness of a Magic keyboard and the more deliberate travel of my Keychron. So let's talk lighting. Now, the lighting on this is simple but effective. It's white only with 3 modes: on, breathing, or off, and there are 5 different brightness levels. And that's thanks to a new light diffuser on the switches. It's much brighter and more evenly lit than the older Lofree models. You're not going to find any RGB here, which for some might be a deal breaker, but personally, I like the clean, uniform look, and I think it suits the minimalist Apple-like vibe of this keyboard. So let's talk typing experience and sound, and this is where my experience with the Flow 2 got interesting. The Surfer linear switches here have a 40-gram actuation force, which is noticeably lighter than what I'm used to on my Keychron. At first, I did find myself accidentally pressing keys I didn't mean to, just because such a light touch would trigger them. After a few days, I adapted, but if you are coming from a heavier switch, it's something you'll need to adjust to. Another thing that caught me off guard at first was the spacebar. It actually sits a touch lower than I expected, so I was missing presses in my first day or two until my thumb adjusted. Now it feels natural, but again, it is worth pointing out for anyone thinking of moving over from a different board. So once I settled in, the Flow 2's feel has been great. The keystrokes are smooth, buttery, bottoming out with a direct but not harsh stop, and the sound profile is deep and muted. Less clicky than my Keychron and far more satisfying than my Apple Magic Keyboard. There is no gasket bounce here, so it's a more immediate typing experience, but for me that's helped with precision once I got used to the actuation. Also, out of the box, this Flow 2 does work with VIA, so you can remap keys, set up macros, and customize lighting. It's not fully QMK compatible, but for most users, VIA should cover everything you'll need. All right guys, sorry for the interruption, but I actually couldn't get VIA to connect to this keyboard no matter what I tried. I tried different browsers, I tried different computers, and so I actually ended up reaching out to Lofree to figure out what was going on, because I'm sure that this keyboard is supported by VIA, and they actually ended up emailing me a JSON file that I could upload to VIA, and they assured me that the keyboards that would be shipping out to customers would come with this configuration pre-loaded. But good news is I have managed to connect to VIA finally, so I can finally set up different macros, all kinds of stuff. So yes, this keyboard is definitely compatible with VIA. Back to you. F1 to F12 keys also work as normal function keys by default, so you'll need to hold the FN key to access the media controls that are written on them, like volume or brightness, for example. I actually prefer this setup because in most productivity apps, you're more likely to use the actual function key than the media shortcut. But one thing I do miss from my Keychron is a quick physical switch for swapping between Mac and Windows layouts. This Flow 2 doesn't have one, which means if you frequently switch devices like I do, you'll have to handle it in VIA or manually swap keycaps. It's not the end of the world, but it's less convenient than having a dedicated toggle. Speaking of, let's talk connectivity. So you've got a trifecta of connectivity options. You've got wired with a built-in USB-C port, Bluetooth 5.3, which allows up to 3 devices, and a 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongle with 1000 hertz polling rate. Switching between devices is easy with FN plus 1, 2, or 3 for Bluetooth, and you can switch to the dongle with FN plus 4. Now this thing does come with Mac keycaps pre-installed, but there are also some bonus Windows keycaps in the box, although Lofree still doesn't include a keycap puller, which if you're like me and have several keyboards already, doesn't really matter because it comes with most other keyboards. But at this price point, it still feels like an obvious oversight. So let's talk battery life. Now, this 84 key model has a 3000 milliamp hour battery, a massive upgrade over the 2000 milliamp hours of the Flow 1, but still smaller than some competitors. While Lofree hasn't published official battery life figures yet, based on my usage with the backlight on medium, I'm charging it roughly once a week. If you keep the backlight off, you'll get more time between charges, but given how subtle the key legends are, especially in this colorway, I think most people will want to keep it on. Now, after a couple of weeks, the Lofree Flow 2 has been a lot of fun to use. It's portable, premium, and comfortable for long typing sessions with a clean, Apple-esque design and a sound profile that's genuinely satisfying to type on. There are definitely quirks. The touch volume slider is easy to bump accidentally, and the power switch is hidden under one of the fold-out feet. Sleep to wake over Bluetooth does take a few seconds as well, so the 2.4 gigahertz dongle is better for instant on. There's no RGB option if you're into custom lighting, and despite being hot swappable, there's no keycap or switch puller in the box. The side notch with the slider will be a love it or hate it feature. Battery life could be better, and some layout choices like no physical Mac Windows toggle are less convenient if you switch devices often. Now, coming from my Keychron V10, I don't know if I'd call the Flow 2 a major upgrade in terms of pure typing performance. The V10 is still excellent, But the Flow 2 is a very different typing experience, lighter actuation, lower profile, and a design that actually makes me want to pick it up and take it with me. I can easily see myself using it on trips instead of my MacBook Air's built-in keyboard and enjoying the better feel and sound while keeping that slim, portable footprint. You'll notice I haven't mentioned price yet, and that's because as of filming this video, it is available on Kickstarter, so the exact retail price isn't confirmed. However, based on past Lofree launches, I'd expect this 84 key version to land anywhere around the 230 to 260 Australian dollar mark once it's at its regular retail price. If you can snag one at a Kickstarter backer discount, it's a much easier recommendation. So, is it worth buying? If you're after a stylish, low-profile mechanical keyboard with solid connectivity, great build quality, and a premium feel, and you can live with its quirks, then yes, the Flow 2 is worth a look. For me, it's definitely not going to be replacing my Keychron entirely, but it's absolutely earned a place in my rotation. But of course, let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Lofree Flow 2. And did you guys enjoy this kind of content? Let me know in the comments below. If keyboard reviews are what you're after, leave this video a like, a subscribe, because if you guys want it, we've got heaps more planned. Ciao for now.